Alright, so to give a shape the action to make a photo appear, or in some cases disappear, or have some sort of action, or any kind of action to a shape, we need to get our slide set up. In this case, I put a yellow background just to make it easier to see what's going on. I put a vocab word of the White House and then have an image of the White House. And the first thing we need to do is make sure we have the White House exactly where we want it to be when it appears. And so you have to do a little thinking, like, gosh, if I want my vocab word here, do I want the picture right next to it? Do I want it out here for some reason? And how big do you want it? Make sure it's the size, however size you're going to want to put it. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and make it big, and I'm going to make it about right there. Looks good. So what I have to do first is what I'm going to do is cover it with a shape that is the exact same color as whatever the background is. So you could do this on a white slide, you could do this on a slide of any color. Patterned ones will not work as well. There's a way to do it, it's just not as easy. So I'm going to pick from my shapes here, and I need a rectangle. A square would work as well. It just needs to cover the whole thing. And remember with shapes that it has an outside like border color and it has an inside color. So make sure that both your border color and your inside color are the same color as to what you want the shape to be. Otherwise you're going to end up with a clear black box around it, and it's not going to make it disappear the way I just made it do. So I just put a rectangle over the top of the White House. It doesn't have to be exact, but it just needs to basically cover it. So the action we're going to assign to the White House or to a shape, and we can do both just to kind of walk through it, is to bring that picture forward, because whenever you do flip charts or Photoshop or anything like that, everything sets up in layers. So we're going to assign it the action of going forward. So I am going to make it a shape, and the shape is going to be what tells it to move forward. So I'm going to just make it a red shape, a red star with a black edging. And I'm going to move it so it's all lined out where I want it to be. And then notice that I have selected this star, so what I'm going to do now is assign an action to that star. And so to do that, we have our browser open. If your browser's not open, you go to View and you go to Browsers. It's gone. View, Browsers, it's back. So right now I'm on the Page browser. So we're going to go along and we're going to go to the Action browser. It looks like a top. And we have current selection here is all the actions to choose from. So as you can see, there's lots of different things that you can have a browser do. You can have it do just about anything. It is kind of nice sometimes, especially with the little kids, to put like an action browser for the pen down here or an eraser down here, so it's easy for them to get to. But in this case, what the action we need it to do is called bring forward. So we look down our list, and here we have right here. We have bring forward, which is going to bring it forward one layer. Bring to the front, you know for sure it's going to come all the way to the very front, no matter how many layers they are. And in this case, since we want that picture to show all the way up, because you can stack pictures, which is kind of cool, but we want whatever shape we click on to make that picture come to the front. So we're going to hit bring to the front. Now, how does it know what to do? That's where we have to go in here to target. We're going to click on this little box right here, and this little box is going to show us everything that is on this page so far. So the text is White House. I have one image. Here's the picture of the image. I have a shape, which is the yellow rectangle that we covered the picture with, and then we have the shape of the star. What we want the action to target is this image. So we're telling it that we want it to bring to the front this image. So we're going to hit OK, and then the most important step is to go down here and do Apply Changes. So now we have applied changes to this, and we have assigned an action, and you know the action's been assigned because when you drag your cursor over your shape, you should get the play button. Alright, so let's test this out. So we're going to go ahead and just get rid of our action browser. It's nice and big. You're doing your lesson. You click on the star. Ta-da! There's the White House. Okay, now remember that once you've set up a slide, in order to use this in front of the kids and have that action always work, you want to make sure that you go into File and you save it. So in this case, I'm going to save as, and I'm going to name it White House vocab. And now it's saved, because this is what I want the kids to see when they first see this flip chart. Then that way, when we're working with the flip chart, we can have the pictures show up, and when we hit page reset, it's going to reset back to the default. Okay, so I'm going to, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to grab like 2 or 3 more pictures and show you how you can put a whole bunch of pictures on one slide for maybe like 4 vocab words. So I'm going to pause it for a second. Alright, so now what I did is I went out and I got 2 more pictures. I got a flag and I got a picture for president. And I added those 2 words to our flip chart. And as you can see, it kind of looks like a mess. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my pictures and I'm going to make them about the same size. That White House picture is kind of big, so I'm going to shrink it down. And one thing that you can do is when you have your toolbar up, this is transparency. And if you slide it, see, I can still see my flag, but I can also put it kind of over my White House. Make sure that I'm just about, it doesn't have to be exact, but I'm just about the same size. Now this one might be a little wonky. So let's see. This one, we're going to kind of stretch our faces out a little bit. That's okay. So now we have them all kind of stacked one on top of the other. And this is our yellow rectangle right here. And I drug it off to the side. You could actually delete it and just put a new one up if you wanted to. But I just drug it out here so I knew where it was. Otherwise, it's going to disappear in front of everything. Now notice that this, when I'm trying to drag my square over the top, it's only wanting to go over the top of the White House because that's where it was positioned before. So we can actually change that by picking its options. And this is called to reorder it. And what we want this yellow to do is bring it all the way to the front. So now our yellow square should be all the way to the front. And now we're going to have to resize it a little bit. And my rectangle is kind of big. Let's see. There we go. Now it's on there and it's covering all the pictures. We're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to go to View, Browsers, and up here what we did is we did the White House and we assigned the action to a shape. So when we click on that star, that White House is still going to pop up. And I'm going to hit undo and tell it to go back home. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it with words. So instead of having to put an extra shape on your flip chart, you could actually just have your words be the trigger. And so for flag, I'm going to make sure that my flag is selected. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say that I want, when I click on flag, I want the picture of the flag to come all the way to the front. So I hit bring to the front, go to target. This time I have all these images. So I have to go through and I have to click until I find the image of the flag. I'm going to hit OK. And now we've got to do the most important thing, apply changes. Now when we go over flag, notice that it says, it has a little play button. And there's the flag. And look at what I did. I left transparency kind of light on here. So let's darken it back up. Okay. So now I'm going to send, I'm going to leave that one there. Now if the kids come up and they click on president, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to click president, click bring to the front. We're going to pick the image of the presidents. Okay. And now we're going to apply our changes. And now when we click president, our presidents are going to pop up. So you could actually just have them come up one at a time, and here's flip. They're going to hit flag, they're going to hit president, they're going to hit, we didn't do White House, we did the shape. But now you can see that you can make shapes or you can make the words actually make that all appear. Now need to go back in, and you can do that over here where you can look at your object browser. See how we have all of our shapes? And if I click on these, it tells me what they are. I want this shape to come back up to the top and be on the front, so I can save this and it's ready to go, because when you go to save this, you want it set up exactly the way you want your kids to see it. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, White House vocab as I did earlier. Yes, I want to replace it. Now it's saved. So now when I click on it, I can go, okay kids, here's White House. Oh, here's the flag. Here's the president. Here's the flag. And at any time I can come over here and hit redo, and it's going to all go back underneath there, and then it's all nice and clean. So there we go. That's how we make a shape or an object of some sort, words, an action, and make pictures appear.